All right. Here it is, the long-awaited Chaos Agent loadout videos. And I say that because in the future, this won't matter, but this video is like going up a week later than I wanted it to. So let's get into it without further ado. This might be a two-parter, or if it's not a two-parter, it's probably going to be a long video because we got a lot of ground to cover, and I really want to cover all of these loadouts very thoroughly. I have a couple of disclaimers right away that it's important to mention. These are not comprehensive. These are not the best loadouts for Chaos Agent. This isn't anything that you need to use throughout this video. Most of these loadouts are just different, very fun ways to play, or very powerful and effective ways to play that are just improved by Chaos Agent and his reloading perk, which, as you can see, is as such. Whenever you use an ability, if the weapon can be reloaded, so no melees, no full magazines, no weapons like the Storm King's Wrath or anything that overheats like the Storm King's Scourge, those aren't proper magazines, those are heat capacity weapons. Like the deatomizer is not going to quite count. There are weapons like the Pulsar 9000, which are a little weird, a little different, and there are certain edge cases like shotguns. We're going to get into those later, but they are, as of recording, bugged. It's my understanding that they're bugged, where some weapons like the Ground Pounder or the Huskbuster, they reload one shell at a time, and that just does not work. Chaos Agent will not bring them to full. He will only reload one of the shells. If this is unintended, and someday in the future, maybe a month from now or whatever, you're trying out Chaos Agent and he does reload those shotguns to full, they will be fantastic, but I will elaborate further in the shotgun loadout video section of this video. Timestamps down below, of course, across the timeline will allow you guys to skip around as you so please if anything is uninteresting to you. And like I said, Chaos Agent just improves these. So if you don't have any specific heroes in today's video, you should be good. And I just wanted to say, these are just overviews. So if you guys have some really awesome loadouts with Chaos Agent, share it with the community, comment down below if I missed it. And let's get into it with the first loadout, not even in this video. Yep. I'm going to show one in a separate video, the Mythic Storm King loadout. We paired Chaos Agent with the pot shot, and it was fantastic. That is a very high energy video. It is very, very fun. Be sure to check that out. Link down below. Very exciting. It was a really, really cool way to play, and Chaos Agent has made the Storm King quite a more interesting fight, in my opinion. But that is outside of the scope of this video because I covered it in that one down below. All right, let's get into the very first loadout that all of us sort of thought about and why this video might be long, because this is going to be happening a lot. This loadout is basically like 3 different loadouts, and it is Gunblazer Southie. Now, we did the math pretty instantly, us players. We went ahead and saw, okay, so we have a hero, Gunblazer Southie, which activates a huge damage bonus of 105% when you phase shift. That same phase shift instantly reloads my magazine, and what a fantastic combo. You can go further yet. Locked and reloaded. If you use the Thick Skeleton Lady or Skull Ranger or Skull Trooper, the dude version, you can get the 15% damage bonus at the exact same time. So every single time you reload your magazine, which means you do need to have fired at least 1 bullet, and I do need to reiterate, when Chaos Agent activates, when you see that little bullet next to your weapon, when you hear that sound, when you activate that ability, it is triggering a reload event, which means this will cancel Crack Shot. This will activate Locked and Reloaded. It is, in all intents and purposes, a reload. Locked and Reloaded, just like I'm saying here, if you reload by phase shifting, you will activate a 15% damage bonus from her or the Skull Trooper. You'll be getting the 105% damage bonus from Southie. It's basically a 120% damage bonus, just like that. And you get a full mag, which is a really, really exciting thing. You will essentially never have to reload normally, which, before I get into the rest of the loadout, leads me into the weapons you can use. For a lot of this recording, I was using a Bobcat because I figured it was kind of a perfect candidate of a weapon that is just usable now, because it is stuck with a, well, actually, this is the wrong copy. Let's look at this one without a reload perk. So it is stuck with a 3.3 second reload time. You can just barely see it above the webcam here. That is way too long in the middle of combat for yours truly. That is never something I am going to put up with. That's just not me. And it already has a 50 round magazine, which means if, stroking my wizard beard that I don't have, if we have a hero who can instantly reload our magazine, you know where this is going. Bobcat is a fantastic pairing. It's sort of a weapon that gets swept under the rug because the Silent Spectre usually steals the show, the Thrasher steals the show, and right now is frankly no different. Both of these are great options. So the Silent Spectre I'm going to give a little bit of a pass to because it has a natural reload time of 2 seconds. I don't believe it is a weapon that is improved by using Chaos Agent. It's just, you don't need it. 2 seconds is plenty of time. I'd recommend Stars and Stripes Jonesy, and this whole video, this might be coming up because he's he's the hero I would have used instead of him. He's who I've been using forever. He gives you essentially a bigger mag size and saves you ammo at the same time. So these are the two options, in my opinion, if you're looking to run a support perk in your builds. Either Chaos Agent, who instantly reloads your magazine, or Stars and Stripes Jonesy, who extends your magazine. Some of you might want to combine these two, and I can't honestly say that that's a bad pairing, but if you're using two support heroes, it means you're not getting any damage bonuses. So I caution against combining these two. If you're just trying to be a nutter and you're trying to get, if you're being one of those people, looking at you, Archer, who spent over 8 minutes breaking a candy corn LMG by reloading with Chaos Agent and never not shooting, okay, that's, or, you know, never stopping to reload. That's a thing, but that's not what I'm trying to recommend here. So there are some options like the Sound Spectre, and I've actually mentioned this in a previous video as well, the Pepper Sprayer, which is an SMG that without a reload perk has 1.5 seconds. That's just too fast. It's not really improved by Chaos Agent, and I'm not going to be mentioning any bow loadouts in this video for the same reason. Most bows with a reload perk are totally fine. The Xenon bow, like, what are you waiting for here? 0.7 seconds. Yeah, you're good. You're chilling. Just use a reload perk and get some extra damage. Don't use Chaos Agent. It's not improved. But for some of these SMGs, there are some very, very real candidates. And another one I was using was Hemlock. I actually kept the mag size perk on here, and that's up to you. I liked the idea of pairing the Hemlock with Ranger Deadeye. So we're going to move on, actually, and recommend a couple of other things. So make account, Beetlejuice. I just want to show this loadout before I change it on you guys. Ranger Deadeye. I ran him in the lead, and there's a reason for that. I like to look at this loadout as just amending a very typical build. So what happens here, I'm going to build it on camera so you guys can see it nice and easy. We're talking just the most cliche, your boy's favorite, just a typical Blast from the Past build. I wanted to see, can I make this work? And the answer is yes. You just put Saurian Hide and Locked and Reloaded. We're going to have to take that out of the support there. And then we can put in something like Energy. I did not find to be totally necessary. You just build it very basic. This is like the cliche Blast from the Past build, but with the mag size on the Hemlock, you're spending about 6.2 seconds, I believe, emptying the magazine, and the natural regen time for phase shift is 8 seconds. So long as you're waiting a couple of seconds before you activate that reload, you can consistently and always use phase shift without any extra support perks, and the Hemlock is an extremely strong SMG, and that constant 50% from Ranger Deadeye is nice. Instead of make it count, this is where I said earlier, these builds are very malleable. You can change it to your will. Gunblazer Southie is 35%, and if you're going to be phase shifting all the time anyway, that could be good, but again, that 6.2 seconds is relevant because you're only getting that bonus for 4 seconds instead of, you know, all of the other time you're going to be spending waiting for the phase shift. So it's not a constant damage bonus like Beetlejuice. So there are some ups and downs, different ways to consider, and of course, just to get through all of the different options, any SMG is going to work here. As long as the reload is more than the 2 seconds like I mentioned earlier with the Sound Spectre, the Thrasher is another one that's really interesting. And I mentioned this in my Chaos Agent video, which I probably plugged in the beginning. Each shot fired grants crit rating, and if you never stop to reload and you reload instantly, that is less than a second, and you could theoretically keep this going. Pretty cool combo. High stress. I don't know how to get enough phase shifts to balance that out, because the amount of heroes you would need to get constant phase shifting for that would reduce the overall damage of the loadout significantly. So it's not the most recommended, but even a basic Thrasher build, give it a mag size or a damage bonus here, is not a bad combo. And to double down on that point, I will say again, if you don't want a mag size perk and you're cool with just an extra damage perk, it'll go a long way. You'll feel it, and it's going to be a really nice bonus. So I mentioned this was going to be a long video, and this is why I've spent a huge amount of time on one loadout, and I'm not even done. So Jack's Revenge. I'm just going to make this more of a footnote. I tried a bunch of different loadouts. I might flash them on screen now if I have all the footage, but I wasn't able to make a super good loadout. The best loadout I was working with was this one, and the idea is that you are getting all of your reloads from phase shifting. So when you shoot an enemy with the Jack's Revenge, they die. It's a very, very strong pistol. I'm sure you guys know this. I'm going to show the perks on it right here. Oh yeah, no reload perk on this one. Double damage, double headshot with Ranger Deadeye in the lead. Supercharged to 144, by the way. I'm headshotting for over 1 million damage if you're using Gunblazer. In my current loadout as of recording, this sheet damage has Beetlejuice in support, but if I put, you know, Gunblazer in the support or even Calamity, that number will be over 1 million damage consistently with the headshots. And if you're an accurate player and you can keep up with the high octane style of this loadout, you can do it. Not a very controller friendly build, but it wasn't super consistent enough for me to keep with it, so I can't totally recommend it. But if you want to tinker with a Jack's Revenge build, it's definitely something you can try. Now, in the spirit of making a very slow-firing weapon usable, we're going to talk about the cleaner. This is fairly early on in the video. There are some awesome other loadouts, timestamps again, but the cleaner was one I wanted to mention because it is the strongest regular sniper in the entire game. It is just barely outdamaged by the crossbows, believe it or not. I'm not kidding. Link to that video down below. But it has a 3-second unskippable reload, and that is just absurd. It's also fair to mention that we have Redline Ramirez in the lead because the cleaner has a 0.3 fire rate, which means you cannot shoot it faster than once every 3 seconds. It's brutal. But with that 45% fire rate bonus, you do shoot it a little bit faster, and it actually makes the weapon fairly usable. However, with Chaos Agent in support, if you throw a grenade or shockwave, you can get that back. And this exact loadout is what I was using, and I don't believe it's viable. I threw on Blast in the past as a default. You would have to use Happy Holidays and then something to reduce the cooldown of grenades. The best I can recommend is grenade generation, and it's not great, but every 45 eliminations you get a grenade charge, which is not the worst thing ever. And there is further news. We would be committing 2 of our support perks to reducing the cooldown, but shockwave cooldown as well. Soldiers do not have a lot of abilities, and Warcry is not something that comes back very often. So if you want to use 2 of these heroes, one or either, doesn't matter. If you can get a consistent supply of abilities to instantly reload the cleaner, this can be a really fun build. I was using Survivalist here, by the way, just because I was very sick of collecting coconuts. I believe I recorded this as one of my last clips in the session. Coconuts would be a clear improvement here, just because, you know, 16% damage, tons of health. I don't think I need to explain that. But there's another thing to consider. The cleaner is not always going to be available. So freeing up a slot for a secondary weapon, like a deatomizer or something that can clean stuff up, is great. And also fairly ironic that you need a cleanup weapon for the cleaner. But hey, the sniper, even with an instant reload, just does not quite do everything a weapon needs to do, but this loadout does make it fairly usable. Whoa, it's Editing Beast. I forgot to mention something I wanted to address, and that is if you are looking for a sniper hero that allows for phase shifting, Sub-Zero Zenith is an option. He's not a top pick because the crits freeze isn't really helping you that much, but if you're looking to just get more shots in, Sub-Zero Zenith could work, but again, you'd be taking away Redline Ramirez and that fire rate, and then you'd just be back to square one shooting once every 3 seconds. I'm just saying he's an option if you want him. Alright, as expected, this video did run a little long, so it is going to be a 2-parter. If I find any amazing loadouts that I missed out on, I might make a 3rd video, but that might be overdoing it. Regardless, subscribe, use code Mista. I meant to remove that, and then I didn't, so it's just going to be there for the whole video. I'm sorry. Twitch link down below. I recorded this during a stream even, and yeah, subscribe for more. Stay tuned. Next couple of days, the video should be here. If you're watching this way off in the future, it should be on the screen right now, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I just wish the reload. There's a squirrel on the air conditioning unit next to me. This is way more interesting than anything else going on right now. There's a little guy just chilling there. Oh, he sees us. There's a squirrel on the AC unit. Look. Look at the little dude. Oh, and he's gone. He's out of here. And then